the any percent version of the game, so there will be horse riding. I'm actually world record holder in this category, and I'm super glad to be here. And I have two amazing commentators with me. How about you introduce yourselves?
Hi, my name is Wacky Wolf AL, and I'm here to correct Tiktak's horrible English, because he sucks at English. If you don't know who I am, check the William and Sly leaderboards, and you'll know who I am. Ooh, who are you?
Hello, I'm Usurpering, also known as Uu. I run The Last Guardian and sometimes this game. And yeah, this is hard any percent.
So yeah, the run will be quite challenging. I hope I can do the community justice and perform. Will there be a countdown?
Wacky, want to do a countdown?
Sure. Are you ready, Tiktak?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yes, give me 1 second, and
Also, are you going to stream to the Discord?
I am already.
You are? I can't see it. What the heck? It just shows you streaming your camera for me.
I'm streaming the other thing as well.
Ooh, can you see it?
Yeah, I'm watching it.
I can't see it. I only see Tiktak.
Well, if all else fails, just watch the Twitch stream.
yeah, I'll see if I can get that fixed. But let's get the run going.
You ready?
Yep, I'm ready for a countdown.
3, 2, 1, go.
Alright, let's
Tiktak.
go.
Thanks.
So hard any percent is, as you probably can guess, a lot harder than normal percent. Basically, the Colossi have way more health on their sigils, and they also have extra sigils. You take damage a lot quicker, or a lot more damage rather.
Yep, and the first Colossus coming up will be Valus. Wacky, how about you tell us what Valus is all about?
So, Valus is known as the Silent Killer. Well, there are several Colossi that are referred to as the Silent Killer. Because, well, Valus is obviously the first Colossus, so he's going to be fairly easy, since he's basically the tutorial Colossus of the game. So, sometimes, if you mess up and fall off him, it's kind of embarrassing because it should be, like, the easiest one. But, yeah, I don't want to put pressure on Tiktak.
Thank you, Wacky. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Also, nice reference to Church's GDQ run.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't pull a Church, because he basically fell off during a GDQ run. And so we like to make fun of him for it.
It's just you, Wacky.
Yeah, it's kind of mean, but, you know.
So, no game crash at the cutscene skip. Very nice.
Yep.
And he makes the jump off the horse.
There's going to be a lot of the same movement tech as well, with the double rolls and the weapon switches, whistles, etc. To bring you up to top speed.
Those basically allow me to go a little faster. It's not that much of a difference, but it helps with timings and certain things.
Yeah. It adds up over the course of the run.
Yeah, and Usurping, you could explain what the difference between normal and hard is in case of Valus.
In case of Valus, so on normal, all you have to do is get to the head and stab his head 3 times. On hard, however, he has an extra sigil on the back of his arm, his left arm with the club in it. So he's gonna stab the foot, stab again, and move around during the cutscene.
Isn't it his right arm?
Oh yeah, it's his right arm, never mind.
Depends on the perspective. For us, it's the left
it's
side.
Valus's right arm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I tried to avoid a thing called a plant here, because it's technically faster, but I did get one. One of you could explain what a plant is?
So a plant is basically when you grab onto a Colossus in a specific spot that basically forces Wander into a position where he can't get shaken no matter what. And so on some Colossi it's favorable to get a plant, but for others it's better to not get one, so you can get shaken out of stabs to start a new stab quicker than you normally would if you had a plant.
Yeah, one thing to note is, because this is hard, and we have a lot more stabs to do, stamina management can be a lot harder. So in order to stab quicker, what Tiktak would be doing is he's switching from sword to his hand, so he can just basically charge and stab quicker. And that's
Yeah,
Valus.
exactly.
And the first Colossus is down. Good job, TikTok.
Thanks.
GG, easy.
Clapping sound effects intensify. I don't know.
And the crowd goes wild.
It feels so empty. Like I'm so used to like GDQ streams where like there's an audience clapping. It just feels so empty without like an actual audience clapping.
I'm sure Twitch chat is enjoying the moment.
Yeah.
Come on, I need some clapping going on.
Considering COVID, this is still pretty amazing that all of these new online events are popping up. And Velocity is definitely one of the cool ones from recent, like, new ones. So yeah, the next Colossus will be Quadratus. And with Quad, if you have played Royale before, you would know how in theory the idea is to first hit the lag to make him drop down. But
to kneel down onto his knees.
Exactly, to make him to be able to climb on top of Quad. But since we're speedrunners, we hate doing the intentional thing, and we'll just skip all of that by clever positioning.
Yeah, we hate doing things the right way.
When it's
Well, more than a little bit of clever positioning. So because it's the PS4 version, obviously we got a lot more lovely cliffside, and thanks to lovely cliffs up on Quad's arena, you can actually jump down onto a little bit of a ledge jutting out, and you can barely hit the trigger for the cutscene, and then you just plop all over.
Yeah. Interesting thing is also that didn't actually work in the PS2 or PS3 version, so just another little thing where this version is faster. There's a few more of those that we will point out over the course of the run.
And also, I just now realized that it sounds weird, like, describing these things, but you'll understand it more, like, when you see TikTok do it right here.
Yeah, exactly. I will try to do a fast thing. I drop down during the cutscene, and there we go.
Not miss.
Nice.
So in normal, Quad only has 2 sigils, one in his head and one in his butt, but in hard he's got an extra one on his ribcage on the side.
And there we go, we got the plant, which is amazing.
Very nice.
Just shows off how crazy it is actually, how Wander avoids all the shaking.
And Quad shakes aren't very nice at all.
Yeah, this can actually lose quite a bit of time. So usually I would go a little faster here, but I really don't want to fall down during a marathon. Which can happen easily with Wander just twirling around all over the place.
Yeah, just play the floor is lava during the marathon.
I'm sure I will mess up at least somewhere because it's just incredibly hard to stay consistent throughout all of it. But so far I'm happy.
And you'll notice he's actually standing above the sigil because the sigil's hitbox is actually much larger than it appears to be. And there's a few colossi in which their sigils are quite big.
And he also did that thing just now where he spams the grab button repeatedly to sort of spasm to the right until he gets to where he wants to go.
Yep, and there's Quad down. On the last sigil you might have noticed I did like a little different technique called cycle stabbing or reset stabbing, where if you get shaken out of a stab, the advantage is you can move up a little, re-grab and start the stab instantly again. This will be important in another Colossus later. This is very essential.
You can only do it on certain colossi because it depends on if there's a solid object in front of you or if the terrain is going slightly up.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Quad sigil is actually a little bit more difficult because it's a bit steep, so sometimes Wander just stumbles around and falls, which can be very frustrating, so I'm glad it didn't happen here.
Yeah, it's very easy to slip off the edge. I almost kind of like want to get a pair of skis on Wander and just remove like all of those like walls on Quad's back and just go skiing off of his back and into the sand.
Yeah, not gonna lie, sometimes it is actually like that.
Yeah.
It can be pretty ridiculous because of the motion of Quad moving forward. So yeah, the next Colossus. One of Wacky's favorites, I assume.
No, I don't like him. He's mean.
So Gaius is the next Colossus. He's very popular and he's on the cover of the PS4 version. He also has one of the most notorious speedrun strategies in this game, skips if you want to call it. where you do a really good physics jump abuse, whatever you want to call it, to launch yourself in midair. However, Gaius in hard is absolutely no joke. Gaius in hard mode is incredibly difficult because you have to time everything perfectly from the jump to the landing. You need to get in position right away.
Yeah. It's a little bit of a running joke that on Reddit, if you just went to the Shadow of the Colossus subreddit, there's always at least one post complaining about the guy's hard time attack. And I think that one was 6 minutes and 30 seconds. And what I'm trying to go for here is a sub 2 minute Gaius in comparison. And yeah,
Also-
if you
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
so if you don't time things perfectly, it will be quite well, it will be hard to control things to not fall off just because of stamina management issues.
I was also going to mention that Gaius is, I believe it's the only Colossus in which the game actually acknowledges its speedrun strat in one of the PS4 trophies, which requires you to defeat him without breaking his bracelet. So a casual player would usually have to break the bracelet in order to climb up his arm, but a speedrunner would skip that and get the trophy, essentially. I think maybe one other Colossus has a trophy that acknowledges the speedrun stat, but I honestly...
Kuromori.
Oh, right, Kuromori.
Yeah, but the Kuromori isn't as precise as the Gaius one.
No.
For Gaius one, you actually have to either do research or just be lucky with the animations. So hopefully I can show this off. Due to this being any percent, I only get 1 or a maximum of 2 tries before all the animations don't line up anymore. I will try my best to show it off.
With any percent, the setups can be quite different for each Colossus, and then they are in individual levels.
Could have done the risky jump here. I'll just avoid risking things this time. Okay, let's see.
Would you risk it for a biscuit?
Yeah. Tough questions, Becky. So here I hit Gaius' belly a little because I'm waiting for him to do the sword slam. And meanwhile I can get a bit of extra damage, which can help with a strategy later, if all goes well. Okay.
Cross on this jump.
Oh?
Perfect. Amazing.
Oh, that almost looked like it wasn't going to make it, like it was just going to undershoot it a bit.
Sometimes it looks like a close call, but if you do it right, usually it's not that big of an issue. Oh,
yeah,
God.
so what Tiktak did was he waited for a very specific point in Gaius' animation to get on a very precise spot on the back of his head. So hopefully not be shaken off.
Okay, I will do a little backup strat here because I actually missed the plant, which is essential for the strategy. And since I want to take this safely, I will drop back down to try to go for the plant again. Because otherwise it's a pain to get to the second sigil quickly. Okay, this time I should have gotten it, yeah.
It's going to be 5 full stabs on the head, and then we wait for another animation to get to the arm sigil.
Oh god, I hope it still works out. It should if I wait a little longer. Okay. Yep, now I can wait this animation out. This is important because otherwise jumping to, or even just walking over to this sigil can be a pain. So I lost a little bit of time there, but all for safety reasons.
Yeah. I mean, falling off is, the thing you're worried about. If you miss an animation or not, it's not as big of a deal.
Exactly, but obviously since this is still a bit of a different walk cycle, I just had trouble getting all the 3 stabs in quickly. So missing out on another animation, but I think I can finish this off safely. Okay. For marathon's sake, I'll try to avoid falling down.
Yeah.
Even though I could have done some risky things.
Yeah, you don't want to die in the lava.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this sigil can be quite a pain. Either you get the right walking animations where you can stab, or you have to wait for guys shaking like that. And now I will finish it off with a slash. Oh, and he even fell down during the cutscene.
Awesome.
So yeah, how about you
And guys-
explain what the slash is all about?
Wacky.
So basically, sometimes if a Colossus is left with like pixel sized health bar, then you can just do a slash attack on the sigil to finish it off rather than grabbing it and taking the time to charge a stab. So you want to do it while falling, depending on the sigil. Some Colossi you can't do a slash just because of like the angle at which their sigil is located on them, but some of them you can do, and usually when you can slash, it's pretty risky in most cases.
Yeah, on guys it usually is fine. Sometimes you have to regrab quickly if the hitbox somehow doesn't align. But the other advantage is also like a jump stab, which is less used in hard actually. But with a jump stab, if you do a jump stab like this one, you basically deal instant damage to the Colossus, but the disadvantage... Yeah. But the disadvantage is that usually it takes longer for Wander to get the sword back out. But in most cases it is actually advantageous to do it as a last stab to skip the pull-out animation and get directly to a cutscene, which saves another second or two. And with the slash it's exactly the same. If you paid attention, the guy's cutscene instantly started right after the slash. Which is actually very cool because this didn't work in the PS2 or PS3 version, and is actually used in quite somebody else, which is always spectacular to look at.
And then coming up here is, my personal favorite Colossus, Phaedra. It's a beautiful, beautiful Colossus, and the casual strat is quite annoying because you have to rely on AI, and with speedrunners we don't quite like that variable. So Tiktak's gonna do a very specific jump to a grabbable ledge on Phaedra and try and use momentum of the actual Colossus to jump back up.
Yep, and the other thing with hard mode is actually that 2 extra sigils are added to Phaedra on the sides, which can sometimes get you into awkward positions where Wander just slides down and falls, due to the fact that their position's fairly close to like falling. But sometimes Wander refuses to grab, so hopefully this will work out.
They're more so on the shoulders than on the sides.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
So they get the jump, very nice.
And he gets onto the calf.
And we're in his butt, very nice.
I thought he was gonna miss that jump, like overshoot it and go around the corner.
That's actually very easy to do. It takes some practice to get used to the angle.
Phaedra's shakes can also be very, very aggressive, so you have to really watch out for that.
Oh, you immediately reminded me of the twerking glitch. Yeah, those shakes are very aggressive.
Especially that one.
Yeah, sometimes what can happen randomly is Phaedra getting into some glitchy animation where the whole backside of Phaedra is just shaking uncontrollably, which can kill a run pretty quickly because you can't quite grab on as easily anymore, which is kind of hilarious and sad when it happens at the same time.
And if you want to see an example of when Phaedra got the twerking glitch, you can check out my Shadow of the Colossus meme compilation. It's pretty much the only meme video of Shadow of the Colossus that there is. Shameless plug. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's amazing and has a lot of speedrun references in it as well. Very well made.
Yeah.
Part 2 coming when?
Soon. Probably not soon, but whenever I get around to it.
Oh god. So here I actually have a little bit of a problem with the stamina. It should be fine, but I'll take it a little slower again. Just what hard mode is all about. Being all
Slow?
comfy and relaxed.
Yeah, Phaedra's head sigil also takes 8 stabs if I'm correct, which consumes a lot of stamina, so you really gotta be careful and make sure you get them all in.
Yeah, here the plant is specifically important, and the first few steps I couldn't get it, but I think now it's fine. No, sometimes Phaedra does those animations though, where it gets you out of the plant for no reason.
Well, because it doesn't want to die.
Yeah, that's fair.
No, it's not.
It's very good.
Oh no, this rabbit I found in my yard is running away because it for no reason. It's as if it doesn't want to die.
Yikes.
Sometimes we need to be reminded of our own mortality to understand what these colossi go through.
God, it's bad that we're laughing because it's actually like a serious theme of the game, but there's like a reference in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the game is meant to make you question whether you're doing the right thing or not, because these are just harmless creatures.
Yeah.
They don't mean to do anything. They're just trying to stop you from doing potentially a very, very bad thing about resurrecting a god.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't talk about the lore much, but basically why Wander is doing all those things is to resurrect Mono from the dead as a Dormin, the god. He basically said he will resurrect his girlfriend if he kills all the Colossi.
Yeah, so basically, Wander has to do Dorman's chores for him.
Yeah.
To get his girlfriend.
Yes.
Yeah.
So a part of Dorman is trapped within each Colossus, which is why a bit of Dorman comes out in the form of death spaghetti and impales Wander.
And supposedly, the sigils on each Colossi, they're almost like seals, almost like bandages, where the essence of Dorman leaks out of the Colossi. So when you stab the sigils, you're basically breaking the seal and freeing Dorman from the Colossi.
Yeah, which is why the black blood pours out.
Yeah, this game has a lot of visual imagery. It's like an art piece, really, in many, many instances. And a lot of, lore is to be figured out by the player.
Yeah.
As minimalistic as Ueda always makes the games.
Yeah, you're meant to make up your own kind of theories and stuff yourself, have your own personal interpretation of the game. Just like in Eco, which you saw before.
So yeah, coming up is the moment where the speedrunners always get a heart attack, as well as the viewers, because of the strategies being risky, and if I fall off Avion, it happens. I'm trying to make it the one cycle, but the strategies I have to go for to make all those cycles involve certain timings that I can't miss, and sometimes I have to just drop down and hope to not fall off.
So Wacky, do you want to cover hard Avion?
Yeah. Also, I was gonna say you might hear me get jump scared a few times, just because of the scariness of this Colossus.
It's a bit worse on normal actually, but yeah, continue. I'm sorry.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, on normal the drops
this
are
Colossus,
a bit severe. Go ahead.
Thank you. So this Colossus is pretty much the same in a speedrun as if you would fight it casually. It's basically a bird that flies through the air, and so there's really not any way you can cheat your way onto him, since he basically stands on that pillar all the way out there, and the only way to get him off is to shoot him with an arrow like Tiktak just did, and then jump onto him like this. And even if there was another way to get onto him, I feel like this would still be the fastest way, what Tiktak just did. And then he basically just has to stab each of the sigils, do some fancy jumps, and yeah, and that'll be it.
Or in this case, I actually won't have to do fancy jumps at all, because it's wing down pattern. There's 2 patterns, and I'm happy I got this one because it's a bit less scary. Not saying that I'm safe here, because this can happen.
Oh!
Oh my goodness.
But
So
I'm
what
good
I
here.
mean, heart attack.
I'm good here. I knew this can happen because I was a bit slow there on the animation, but it should be fine. The transition here is a bit scarier now. So hopefully I will get there in time. Okay.
Yeah,
Now,
normal Avion
no
is a
plant,
heart
no
attack
plant.
as it is.
Okay.
But with hard, your stamina can just deplete.
Yeah,
And
like I
fall off.
said. And imagine, guys, this was the less severe of the animations. The other one involves losing quite a bit of stamina and barely making it back there.
Jump stab.
Yeah.
I
This-
love how you moved away from the sigil just to show off that it has a very wide hitbox.
Yeah, not only that, but the last jump stab is a bit easier if you move a bit farther away and safer.
And Avion is down.
Yeah, and
Crap,
I
crap,
didn't
crap,
fall
crap,
off.
Press F.
Can I ask a question about hard mode?
Sure thing.
You said something about stamina. Does stamina deplete faster in hard, or is it just because your stabs do less damage? So you need to hold on.
I don't think the stamina depletes faster, but the fact that you have to stab more
Right.
involves losing more stamina usually. Like on Avion, for example, if you watch via World Record, which is absolutely amazing by Stormglad, there he barely manages to drop back down to the tail with literally 0 stamina. That's how optimized it is. So here I take safer strategies to make it safer, but it's the common theme in hard mode that due to the fact that you have to stab sigils more, you have less stamina available.
Right, makes sense.
Like on the wings, for example, on normal you stab it once, here you have to stab it twice. But yeah, that was a clean Avion.
Yeah, your management of stamina has to be very spot on in order to do all these tricks.
Yeah, or else it can get pretty clutch at times when you're running on hard.
Yep, some other Colossi will involve management like that as well. Like, optimization in this category is key, otherwise you just keep falling off Colossi due to certain things that you maybe do a little bit different, and all of a sudden the Colossus shakes and oh, you don't have any stamina anymore. The next one is actually kind of similar to that. But like, how about you introduce the next Colossus?
So the next Colossus is Barba. He is basically a bipedal Colossus with a very long beard. And the way you would fight him casually is you would go from one end of the arena to the other end and hide in a little architectural structure. And basically Barba would try to look for you, and so he'd kneel down to look into where you're hiding, and then you would run out and jump and grab onto his beard and then climb up onto his head and fight him. But the way we fight him in a speedrun is, you would jump into his hand from the ground where you start in the arena once you start the fight. And for hard mode, Tiktak actually has a sigil on the hand that he is supposed to go for first. So he'll jump into the hand, stab the sigil, and then get launched onto Barba's head, take down a sigil on that part, and then fall back onto Barba's back and kill that sigil, and then he'll be done.
Yeah, ideally to work out like that. Also, you just saw the 17th Colossus of Forest. I definitely showed a great example of aggro just being scared of grass. And so that can be a bit tricky at times when you're trying to go fast. Because in the PS4 version, the devs really wanted to show off how amazing that forest looks. So aggro naturally slows down to a very, very slow speed. And the only way around that is doing those fast, quick starts. But even those don't work sometimes, and yeah.
Wait, I have a new theory, actually.
Okay.
What if aggro has like a mental condition where she has like hallucinations, and that's why she'll get scared of random things because she's having like some sort of hallucination, and you gotta calm her down and assure her that everything's okay. And
I mean, we call those invisible walls because aggro can be like started all kinds of things and is actually quite tricky to get around sometimes. So maybe aggro is seeing more than we do.
Do you have a little
Yeah.
bit of time for a donation while we're running over?
The
Yeah,
fight
go.
is coming up. Yeah, it's fine.
All right, we have $10 from FoxyZilla54.
Oh,
It
we
says,
know.
GG, not missing the arena and having to swim back around Kipo.
Yay, Foxy!
We actually know Foxy. Ooh, do you want to explain who Foxy is, real quick?
Yeah, Foxy is another runner of this game. He's very, very talented.
Yes, indeed. He has a cute doggo.
Yeah, he's very cute.
Yeah. And
Got it.
Tic-Tac successfully made it into Barba's hand and is now
Very nice.
proceeding to stab his sigil.
Just keep
Yeah,
an
that's-
eye out for the jump.
That's actually like a strategy that Wacky and I discovered together. And it's very,
Wacky
very
tacky.
tricky. Yeah, way more tricky than it looks. It's a pain sometimes. And the fact that we found out how it works and made it consistent. And the jump.
Oh,
Sadness.
oh.
The lineup was a bit off. I should be able to get a backup here if I'm lucky. Okay.
They're trying to AI manipulate Barb into doing a specific attack to get back on the upper hand. Very nice.
So I can show off both strats, the hard strat and the normal strat.
Yeah, so in normal mode, you would normally do what
Oh,
Tic-Tac does.
excuse me!
Oh no!
That never happened before.
So I was gonna say that in normal difficulty, you would jump into Barba's other hand and then get launched up onto his head, since you don't have to fight the hand sigil. So Tic-Tac is gonna try again to trigger Barba to do a certain animation that will allow him to jump into the right hand. It looks like he got it.
Wow,
And, oh,
okay.
are you?
Oh my goodness.
Barba is being very tough right now, just showing how comfy and relaxed of a game that can be.
He stumbled on air. What the heck?
We are
That
having
happens
such a good
sometimes.
time.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll be fine. I've seen worse happen. At this point, nothing surprises me.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Could have been clean, but yeah, it's okay. There we go.
Finally. So again, head sigil and back sigil. With extra
Yes.
stabs in between.
Yeah, and
You can
another
actually
one
jump
of...
stab on the back, can't you?
Yeah, I won't try that here. It's a very risky strat, but if you want to watch IELs and see the insane stuff people have figured out how to do on a single location out of hundreds of runs, it's absolutely amazing. So this can also be tricky stamina-wise, and yeah, Barba just decided to shake anyway, but yeah, it's okay. Usually you can interrupt those shakes by doing the timing right with the stabs, but I think I'm fine here.
And Barba is down. Clap, clap, clap.
A bit of a rough one, but I made it work.
Yeah.
We might have time to read another donation while we're waiting for the tendrils.
All right. Well, proceeds for Velocity Online go directly to the Movember Foundation. Prostate cancer is the most commonly diagnosed cancer in men in the United States. Globally, more than 1.3 million men are diagnosed with prostate cancer each year. Across the country, there are more than 3 million men living with and beyond the disease. Many are dealing with serious side effects from treatment. It doesn't have to be like this, so we're taking action. Movember spent years immersed in prostate cancer research, and in that time, they've pushed progress forward 50 years. How? By thinking differently, collaborating globally, and investing quickly in what works.
Yeah, definitely an amazing cause, and I think I will donate to it as well right after my run. So if you guys can just try to do the same if you have the money available, that would be quite amazing.
Yeah, everyone pay up.
I didn't want to word it quite like that, but
And it looks like we've got a raid from Etchy, oh my goodness.
you know, $1 can't hurt. Anyway, next Colossus coming up. Another fun one.
So the next Colossus is Hydrus. He's basically an electric water eel. He basically swims around in the water with 3 horns that emit electricity that can zap you, but only when you get close for some reason. You would think that you'd be able to get zapped from anywhere in the same body of water, but nope, that's not how physics work in this game. And so I believe pretty much it's almost exactly the same casually as in the speedrun strat, except for at the beginning, Tic-Tac will do a lineup where he can actually jump stab in the water right above Hydras's head to trick Hydras into thinking that you actually jump stabbed him while you're on him. And so then he will begin to twist and go up above the water surface so that you can jump onto him and stab his head and kill him instantly.
Yeah, and this lineup is very, very tricky and precise. The good thing about hard mode is that the electric horns deal more damage. So in a way, if I mess it up, I can reset very quickly. With the tactical death, which will be a theme in this run if I mess up certain things.
Don't you mean tactical death?
Exactly.
Incredible.
And yeah, it will be amazing if I get it first try, but it's like one of the most precise setups. It involves counting swims and praying for the most part.
Yeah, also waiting for a very specific bit in Hydra's animation, because if you miss the timing by like a fraction of a second, you can still get Hydra's to bump up, but in the wrong kind of way.
Yeah.
And he just kind of swims on his own accord.
And the difference to normal in that case is also that in normal, the horns don't deal as much damage, so you can just do the casual strategy as a backup. Here, I technically could do the casual strategy as a backup, but not only would I risk dying and messing it up anyway, I would have to kill the horns, and that would give me quite a timer each time, which it's very likely I wouldn't make the one cycle, so I'll just try to go ahead and do the full-on speedrun strategy. At least for a couple of tries, it should be fine.
And now we are coming upon Hydras's arena. So if you have a fear of water and like water monsters, you may want to look away right now.
Or just deep water.
Yeah, water.
Water.
Water. Alright, he's going for the lineup now.
Okay, this is one of those lineups where this could work, but might as it also can not work. I really can't tell until I do the skip, so wish me luck.
Good luck.
Yep. And that's how precise it is. It barely didn't work, so hopefully I can... Yep, okay. That's the quick reset
doing
we
his own
want.
little thing.
Yeah. Basically, sometimes if you miss the right positioning and timing by just a little bit, this can happen. But on second try, this is a little bit easier, in theory.
And isn't your lineup slightly better as well, once you die?
Yeah, JK, a member of the community, found quite a lot of lineups as backups, like this one, and it makes a lot of things a lot easier. I'm not quite sure again, but we'll see. Eventually.
Do you get it?
And big shout out to JK. Thank you very much for this backup. You save marathon runs like a hero. There we go. So, since I would die if I continued jump stabbing here, I destroy the horn, and now the jump stabs are a little bit more precise, but I should be fine. I'll do the last one as chip damage to be a bit on the safer side, and there we go.
And Hydras is down. Clap, 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 clap.
Yeah, second try Hydras is perfectly fine, especially in a marathon setting.
It's one of the hardest things in the game.
Totally, yes. I think from here on, besides Pelagia, I'm completely fine, confident I can do most of those tricks very quickly. That will backfire quickly, but I'll just say it.
Yeah, probably on Pelagia.
Yeah, I mean, I
Well,
said
no.
Pelagia as an exception because that one is a big mess in hard mode.
Yeah.
It's already bad enough in normal, but on hard it's a whole new level of things that can go wrong.
Speaking of things that can go wrong, Kuromori is next up.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So, earlier we mentioned something about, cycle stabs and being very precise with your timing. Hard Kuromori, because his sigils have fat stacks of health, it is absolutely necessary to get in cycle stabs perfectly. Otherwise, you'll miss his timing and he'll go back up, and you won't be able to one cycle.
Yep, and I will definitely go for one cycle, so if I mess up, I'll have to try and do it again.
Good luck.
Thank you. I think I'm confident enough to be able to do it every time, but the former world record holder of this category, Inception, who basically has all the other world records in all the other categories, he actually messed this one up in his former record. And that's probably the only reason why I have my record right now. Just shows how crazy difficult it is for even the most experienced players. Or, as some people would call it, a very comfy run.
It's only
Quite
16 bosses, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
Quite cozy when they one-shot you, all of them.
You got a little nice horse riding section.
I like to call them aggro breaks, because I've actually noticed that, like, if I'm grinding ILs for a long time trying to get a PB and I just can't seem to get it, or I keep struggling at the same point in the run every time, sometimes what I'll do is I'll take a quick break to get on aggro and just ride around the Forbidden Lands, just kind of wandering around aimlessly and just exploring and stuff like that. And then I'll come back and resume the ILs, and then I'll usually get a PB within like the first 5 tries because of the relaxing mental break that the aggro break gave me.
Yeah,
So
and
I always try to recommend it to people.
Yeah. One of the things about any percent in this game specifically, for marathons, it's actually worse for the runner. Even though you would think the aggro breaks are nice, obviously they are, but the problem is you can't reset like you can on a boss rush, for example. Meaning that if I did the hard boss rush, not only would the run be faster, but I would have less issues with lineups and backups. But I personally think any percents are better for marathon's sake, just because you have the time to read donations, to explain strategies, without it literally being one Colossus after another with barely any breaks. And honestly, I think the only reason boss rushes on average were featured more often is because most runners weren't actually comfortable doing any percent like in marathons even a while back. I think there was like one run on ESA fairly early on, but other than the amazing run by Ruby on Fleet Fatales recently, there were barely any percent runs in marathons, which I think is a nice change of pace.
So Kuro's just about to come through.
Yep.
Whistling straight after. Oh, sorry, you can go ahead then.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Tiktak does a little whistle here to trigger Kuro to want to attack you. I always love watching casual players play this game, and then when they get to this Colossus, I tell them to whistle, and I don't say anything else, I just say whistle with no context. And they do it, and then they hear the fight music for Kuro come on, and then they're like, oh no, what did you make me do?
Getting some very clean stabs in.
Yeah, and due to the cycle step nature of these, they are required to be fast enough for one cycle. No, not quite, you can make it without them, but it's a lot more difficult. But if you mess them up, it can quickly go wrong.
It
I
looks
think I
like
should be.
you got it.
Yeah, I think I'm fine here.
You can see Curry's wiggling about, that means he's about to turn over. And when he's turning over, you can't stab him anymore.
Yep.
And sometimes even when he's like not fully beginning to turn over, when he's like still on his back, if you try to jump stab him, sometimes it won't even register even though he's still like completely on his back straight up.
Yeah, that's the reason I didn't jump stab. I think a jump stab would have worked, but it's such a slow timing window and it's risky, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not worth it when you know you have the timing all right.
And we have another difficult Colossi coming up, Bassaran, the tortoise. It's kind of a thing that sometimes people can get lost on their way to Bassaran because of all the cliffs and the cliff edges. So during speedruns of any percent, we have very specific routes to take with aggro to avoid being delayed and hitting invisible walls.
Yeah, and oftentimes we still end up running into the really big cliff on the way there anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so annoying because there's like a huge cliff right in front of the entrance to the arena. And so you always feel like you want to just like take a shortcut through it and like just jump over the cliff, but aggro won't allow you to do that. So it gets really frustrating that you have to go all the way around the cliff. Yeah.
Yeah, and sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, there's a lot of movement tech with aggro that you utilize on your way to Colossi, and even during certain fights when you use aggro to get the best, possible times.
Speaking of which, Tiktak will actually be using aggro's assistance for this Colossus. Normally in a casual playthrough, what you would do is you would lure the Colossus out of the cave that he emerges from and try to get him to stand over a geyser. Then the geyser will shoot up against his belly and make him lose his balance, allowing you to shoot his feet, causing him to tumble over and allow you to climb up his belly. And then he'll stand up and allow you to transition from his belly to his side and then onto his back. But the way we do it in a speed run is we would do a certain run up to the Colossus from aggro, and then we would jump off of aggro and onto a ledge on the Colossus's leg, and then do a very precise side jump that allows Wander to launch from the leg right onto Bassaran's head or back.
Yeah, it looks quite bizarre when you see it for the first time, but it actually doesn't use any glitches. It's more like an exploit of the physics in this game, using the Colossus movement against the Colossus, which is quite the theme in most of the speedrun tech like you saw on Gaius already.
And if Tiktak messes this up, there's a lovely cliff nearby that he can jump off of to reset the fight. Ooh, he almost missed it.
Yeah, I had to re-grab twice because the timing didn't... Yeah, the timing was a bit sus to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, luckily on Bassaran he doesn't get any new sigils, so he just kinda keeps stabbing his head.
Yeah, it can lose a lot of time though, especially on... Wow, what was that? That was interesting. Yeah, due to the fact that that's a lot of stabs, I'm dropping back down here to reset the walking animation, and I'm desperately trying to get a plant and get enough stabs, and this might be it, but on Bassaran you never know.
Yeah, Bassaran shakes are deadly.
There you go, it was a plant for a second, but then never mind. Bassaran is all about giving false hope. This is a better plant.
And one more stab.
Great.
And he's down.
Yep, very happy with that first try as well. That's quite challenging. When you first start learning it, compared to IL, the setup is completely different and very precise.
If you want to see a perfect Bassaran, I'd recommend going to SRC and looking up Hammer Club's IL run, it's completely insane what he does to Basara.
Yes, indeed.
Probably by far, not by far, but probably the most impressive speedrun of them all. All
Well,
of
yeah.
them are absolutely impressive. But if you would have to watch 3, I'd recommend Basaran, Kuromori, and Malice, maybe? Or Phalanx. All of them are pretty cool.
Also, it's not by Thar, it's by Hammercloud.
Exactly. Nice one, Becky.
Thank you. So next up is my favorite Colossus, Dirgy Dirge. He's basically a sand snake that basically submerges its entire body under the sand. But he will actually like poke his eyes up above the sand if he chases you while you're running from him on aggro. It's a really cool Colossus because unless you look up pictures of his 3D model or you manage to see him jumping out of the sand, you rarely ever like see what he looks like entirely because he's almost always under the sand. So it kind of gives you weird, creepy vibes whenever you see like actual pictures of the parts of him that you don't see from under the sand. But the way you would fight him casually, I believe it's pretty much the same as the speedrun strat. But with the only differences being that in the speedrun there's a way you can move at the beginning, a travel path with aggro to get him to hit a wall faster. But basically, you run in front of Dirge and shoot him in the eye with an arrow while on horseback, and that causes him to go blind temporarily, and then he'll hit the nearest wall based on where he is. And so then once he hits the wall, he'll basically be stunned, and that allows you to stab his sigils, pretty much.
One difference you probably forgot, though, is we will one cycle Dirge.
Oh, yes.
It's such second nature because you have quite impressive ILs, but how about you explain that one as well?
So basically, Dirge has 2 sigils, and there's a maximum amount of damage you can do to each sigil. And if you do the maximum amount of damage to one of his sigils, then when you try to finish off the other sigil, Dirge will say, no, 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 you can't do that. And he'll dive back under the sand, and then you have to shoot him in the eye all over again. But what we do to get around that is we do damage to the first sigil, but we try to keep it slightly below the maximum amount of damage you can do. So then that will allow us to finish off the second sigil, and the game doesn't really realize that you've basically cheated it out of the 2 cycle.
Yeah, and that's because we did extra damage on the eye. So
Yeah.
the damage you see on the eye is about the leeway I have. So you can imagine it's quite precise. It's a bit
Yes.
easier on hard time attack, but nothing I cannot fail anyway.
Yeah, Dirge is like one of the only instances where a precision stab is easier to get than it is on its normal counterpart.
Yep.
Yeah, which is kind of weird if you think about it. It's even harder on easy mode, believe it or not.
Yeah, because you just deal insane amounts of damage, so it's very easy to overrun the stab.
Yeah.
Also, if I miss a couple of shots, Dirge will go under the sand quicker than in normal mode, but I think I knew that.
I was gonna say that lineup looked a little bit tight, but it actually managed to work out for you.
Yeah, if I would have missed that one, I would have gotten another shot, I think, but when it's about
It was a
that.
silly slash. It was a silly slash.
Yeah, sometimes Wander doesn't really respond to the grab button,
Yeah.
which can actually lose runs. Okay. I'm not sure I think this might be pixel health.
Yeah,
Or
it
ju-
kind of looks a bit understabbed.
But there's nothing really I can do about it unless I do the hero thing that Asma managed to do before. So let's just pray. Like I said, on hard it's more leeway, but this is... might understab. Yep, that's what I
Oh
thought.
no. Well,
Yeah,
at
you
least
can
now
see
you can do
literally
a
just
sexy
one-
slap.
One tiny slash of blue.
Yeah, and that's a problem, like, maybe I should start doing like a precision stab, not as the last one, but on hard I'm usually comfortable enough to do it anyway. But as you could see, I understabbed by a little bit, and it's a pixel of health left. Oh god.
Oh,
This can actually cost the run very quickly, I should be a bit more careful.
I also forgot to mention a difference between hard mode and normal mode for Dirge is that in normal mode, when Dirge is chasing you while you're on aggro, Dirge will dive under the sand and try to like launch out at you and do like a lunge attack when you get close to a wall. But in hard mode, he does it a bit earlier than
as you could
before
see
you
here.
reach a wall. Yeah. Oh, and now you're
my
at
God. Yeah, as you see, usually speedrunners know the usual way of doing things, and once it gets to the backup, things can get quite hairy.
Yeah, aggro was like, I'm done here, I'm done. Goodbye, people. I can't take
I'm
this
out.
anymore."
See
There
ya.
we go.
Yeah,
Okay.
peace.
We managed to get
Oh,
it
you
to a
managed to
pillar.
hit a pillar.
And totally intentional.
Sometimes Dirge can just forget where the wall is and go completely to the other side of the arena.
And the slash to finish it off. It's like this one is a particularly angry slash. Whenever you miss one cycle, you just like...
Revenge.
Yeah.
No, imagine you do an angry slash, but then you do too much damage, and then you have to 3-cycle Dirge somehow, and it's
If that was a thing, that would be quite painful.
Do you think we have time for a donation or two?
Yeah, sounds about good.
Mods are asleep, we can riot.
No, it's fine. We have enough to talk about. If there's donations coming up.
We can make up our own donations with silly donation messages.
Sorry, I was pulling it up. We have $20 from Thar, who says, had to donate after seeing Tic-Tac take down the bane of my Shadow of the Colossus playthroughs, Bosserod. You're the man,
Yay.
Tic-Tac.
Thank
And then
you.
we have $20 from Foxyzilla, who says, Mike, Kit, and I are super comfy watching this clean run. Keep it up and be glorious.
And then, as the donation comes in, obviously I 2-cycle Dirge.
Perfect
Imagine the comfier Foxy gets, the more he donates. So we should just buy him a really comfortable pillow so that he'll.
If I get a clean 2-cycle Pelagia, that would deserve actual donations. I feel like no pressure here, neither on me nor on the viewers. It's like one of those things where at this point I really think that Pelagia is comfortable enough for me, and then right as I think so, sometimes it's just a 20-minute split, because Pelagia can just not cooperate. It's quite an intense part of the run.
Yeah.
That's why.
Lucia coming up.
Yeah, I know. Just thinking ahead of things.
Yeah, I was going to remind you that you're on your way to Celosia, but you were talking about Pelagia, and that scares me because sometimes when you talk about a Colossus ahead of time that you anticipate being difficult, sometimes it messes up with your memory, and so you end up going to the wrong Colossus by accident because you're overthinking it.
Quite
So
useful.
I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, there is a pretty popular clip of mine where I just go to Hydras because I'm terrified and completely skip Barba, throwing the run that way.
I believe it's your most popular Twitch clip, and it also managed to make its way into a speedrun fails video.
Yep, it is what it is. So, slow sit
now-
coming up.
Yeah, Tic-Tac is on his way to a Colossus called Celosia. it's a very small Colossus, like about the size of, I'd say, it's almost the size of like a bowl, but like a bit wider, I'd say. Um, and so this Colossus, the way you defeat it is you have to basically back it off of a cliff by showing it its own fear and making it scared. And he basically falls off a cliff and it damages the armor on his back, which exposes his sigil, which you have to stab. And it's kind of messed up. Everyone always points to this Colossus when they talk about the whole thing about the morality of killing these innocent creatures. Uh, it's actually kind of a headcanon of mine that maybe like he's trying to warn you about the fire, and you'll see here he's about to attack this pedestal that Tiktak is standing on, and I like to think that he's like attacking the fire to try to protect you. But then you pick up the fire and he basically he would usually start backing up out of fear. But Tiktak is going to do something a little different here. Instead of getting behind Celosia and backing it off the cliff that way, he's going to stand at the edge of the cliff here and try to trigger the animation of Celosia falling off the cliff. And you got yeeted off the edge in the process.
Yeah,
And
a bit of
now-
a word animation, but I can make it work.
And you landed inside him. Very nice.
Yeah. But here you can see another nice example of how plants are completely broken.
Yes. I was very lucky to get a plant from that angle.
It's a bit easier on these smaller ones. But it can be quite a pain, casual players will know.
Yes.
So now
Tiktak, do you want to talk about your favorite Colossus coming up next?
Oh boy.
So basically,
Boy, howdy.
Let's talk about Pelagia for a second. In the normal time attack, it's already painful. You have to be quite precise, but there you can at least one cycle. But boy oh boy, hard time attack. The idea is to get a 2 cycle, and for that you have to be very precise on the first position where Pelagia can deny you, to get 4 very quick stabs out without Pelagia interfering on that. And then you have to, during the cutscene, jump onto Pelagia to be back on the head, and then hope Wander doesn't fall off during the cutscene, somehow managing to get the 2 cycle that way. It's already pretty tough on the IL, but in any percent, since there's more variables involved with the lineup, unless you're Inception and you can do it every time. I'm not that precise, sadly, so this will be interesting.
Indeed.
So due to the fact, the usual strategy here is to obviously climb up and then use the teeth on Pelagia's head to navigate. And since we want to go fast, I will try to cancel an animation by jumping onto Pelagia. And that would allow me to do a drop down to the sigil to get the stabs in very quickly. And all of the steps I just mentioned can fail in one way or the other. So this is always the Colossus. After this one, I'm pretty comfortable for the rest of the run, but it's another one that can go quite horribly wrong.
Oh, is it Argus?
No, I'm fine with Argus, honestly. It
Really?
is tricky, but I feel like I'm comfortable enough with it.
Are you so comfortable that you would donate?
I will donate after the run, as I said. And then our forest coming up. And the whole section after here, Agro just wants to go slow. So we just stop and start
She
to
wants-
have a little bit of speed.
She wants to take in the beautiful scenery.
Yeah.
And she reminisces of the times when she was a free horse, free to run in the wild and be free. And now she's tamed and doing your bidding. and then later
Oh,
will
God.
be sacrificed for a very bad cause.
Well, not quite sacrificed. Spoiler alert, Agro dies but doesn't die. This goes for a little swim later. So this will take quite a while, so if there are any donations, feel free to read them out.
Let me pull things up. Proceeds for Velocity Online go directly to the Movember Foundation, benefiting research towards men's mental health and suicide prevention, prostate cancer, and testicular cancer. Since 2003, Movember has funded more than 1,250 men's health projects around the world, challenging the status quo, shaking up men's health research, and transforming the way health services reach and support men.
So it'll take a little bit longer just to get to that island. Swimming is very slow in this game. At least it's a bit faster than in the original game.
Yeah.
Just a little more.
Tick tock, tick tock.
Okay.
And finally.
Wow, I got this done. Amazing.
Wait, what happened? Was your control?
Wonder ran out of air. That
Oh,
happens
I
when we
see.
don't. Okay, let's
So
see if I
everyone put
can
your
get-
hands together for Pelagia.
Woo!
Less RNG if you have. Oh goodness.
It's okay.
It's
you
okay.
Can still do the backup.
Swim around.
Yeah, swimming around still usually gives a decent lineup, but even that is not always true. I try
So what we
to
usually do
directly
is-
grab onto,
Yeah.
which is quite precise and also involves a bit of a lineup. That can be.
Because
Yeah.
Wanda has magnetic hands, and Pelagia, when you jump onto his face, you try and magnetize to him.
I think this lineup could work in theory.
It's almost like the magnets in Pelagia's face are like randomizing whether they're going to be a positive magnet or a negative magnet. And so then you jump, and if it's the wrong magnet type, then you don't magnetize to him. Because isn't it like opposites attract or something, plus attracts to a minus?
Yep.
Yeah.
And that was scary. I had to realign myself because the whole
Very
sigil can be quite tricky, but I think I got the lineup. Now I gotta be lucky on the rest of the thing, but this was already very important to get.
Will he go
And,
left or
and
right?
as you see, if you look closely, you can see Wonder on top of Pelagia again, but I can't control this cutscene. So if Wonder falls off, Pelagia turns left or right, or does a twirl, I can't quite know. Until this moment, and it
Hey.
went perfectly.
Excellent.
Yeah, I will take this second one a bit safer, just to avoid any more things that can go wrong.
Yeah, 100%. And Pelagia's sigil is actually one of the worst programmed in the entire game, because you can be on the sigil and stabs won't register, which makes
Yeah, especially
the
since
two
the
cycle
sigil
very hard.
somehow can move around during stabbing. That's why I moved after the first sigil, because I think I just about had enough room to do. Yeah, another fun one. Here we go. That's what we call Pelagia. It's like, actually I don't want to fight anymore. Let's just go home. Imagine in my world record run I lose a minute to this one. And there's not much you can do about it. But I don't wanna fight. It's not a good
Try-
call.
Hit his hair. He notices more
Uh,
easily.
It's actually quite random.
Fingers crossed here. Come on, Pelagia, jump up.
Wait.
I don't
Yeah.
think-
Yes.
Yeah, he did
There
it.
we go.
I didn't think he would. He was kind of slanted.
Yeah, but on the second one, usually Pelagia does it. Even though it's quite painful in any case. No, just 3 more stabs, that should be fine.
Very nice. Yeah, even though Pelagia trolled, like the 2-cycle is very, very hard to get. And very
I mean, that's the best I could have done, basically, with all the things gone wrong. This was definitely not the worst Pelagia could have trolled. I remember in my very first hard boss rush speedrun, this was definitely like a 20-minute plus segment. It's very difficult to get used to all those little things that you have to keep in mind. You can make it easier by being very precise, but sometimes things just go wrong, and this time it didn't. So I'm happy about it.
Yeah.
That's the big hurdle jumped over. And hopefully the rest of the run can be nice and comfy as well.
Hopefully.
I'm curious, who would you say the hardest Colossus to do fast is?
For me, in my opinion, it's definitely a hard Pelagia just now.
Really?
Yeah, at least if you want to go for it first try. If you're talking about ILs and the peak optimization, it's a little bit more tricky to say.
Right.
Where Kuro and Malus both have insane optimizations. All of the ILs are just insanely difficult to beat at this point.
Yeah.
Like, the optimization is to the second unless new skips are found.
Alright, now Tiktak is on his way to the next Colossus, which is Phalanx. It's one of the 3 most popular Colossi because it doesn't attack you, so therefore it makes things easier for you. And so the way you would fight it is he has these 3 sets of bubbles or like sacks on his underside, and he flies around in the air, and so you have to basically shoot each of those sets of sacks with your arrow, and that will cause him to kind of like lose his floatiness, so to speak, and he'll basically be lower to the ground, and he'll stick his wings down into the sand so that you can basically run up to his wings, climb up them, and jump onto his back and start stabbing his sigils. The difference between a casual playthrough and a speedrun is that sometimes you, in a speedrun, you shoot his sack so fast that he does this sort of lineup where he goes so low to the ground that you can just jump right onto his back from aggro instead of having to jump onto his wings and climb up that way.
Yeah, I'm talking about a new community member recently, Frequency, has joined out of nowhere and discovered a strategy that is actually, for some people at least, easier as a lineup, and I will try to do that too. Oh yeah, actually, talking about that, I need to switch to classic controls for that one. Thank God I talked about it.
Yeah, because on classic controls you auto-aim.
Yeah, and that's a bit easier with Colossus, and Frequency found a setup which I will try to do here. And he found it while playing this game years ago, and no one had a clue. So that's actually the beauty of it. New things get found on a regular basis.
Oh! Just so you guys know, I actually haven't seen
But I messed it up anyway.
So, yeah. So this is basically my first time ever seeing it.
It's
yeah,
still
but basically
testing process at the moment to try and get it as consistent as possible.
Okay, got it. But yeah, the good thing about this strategy is not only is the first and second arrow better, sometimes even if you mess it up, it's fast. So hopefully, you saw I messed up quite badly, and
he's not
Phalanx is still lower than usual, so it probably still saves time even when you mess up a little. And if you do it perfectly, you basically got an setup similar to the IL, where you can just straight up jump onto Phalanx.
Interesting.
So, how about someone explains how the 1-cycle works here?
So basically it works kind of like Dirge, like we explained earlier, where each of the sigils have a maximum amount of damage you can do. But because Tiktak did some damage already by shooting the sacks, he's basically able to manipulate Phalanx and be able to kill Phalanx in one go, rather than having to multi-cycle him. If you do maximum damage to a sigil, basically Phalanx will do this very annoying animation where he does barrel rolls, and it can really slow you down because you have to try to move with his rotations and hold on while you wait for him to go completely upside down. But
Excuse me. There we
as
go.
you can see, Tic-Tac managed to avoid triggering those animations and successfully one-cycled Phalanx. Good job.
Thank you. And yeah, specifically on hard mode, doing the one cycle without that little trick, it would be very, very hard, near to impossible. On normal it's manageable, but would obviously still lose time due to the rolls. So coming up next is actually my personal favorite, Zenobia, because of all the history I have with that Colossus. I grinded Vial for that one for quite a long time. And there's a cool backstory about a strategy that was found by Wacky actually last year, which allowed me to get the world record over Odawara, who is like the expert in Vials, a Japanese player. So that I also was able to hold Vial world record for a couple months.
Yeah, so Odawara is basically he's a speedrunner
God.
that
Yeah.
he's a speedrun god that basically likes to take each of the Colossi IL world records one by one in order of the Colossi. And so he was about to take Zenobia, and Tic-Tac was scared because he still had Zenobia world record at the time, and he was worried he wouldn't be able to take it back once
Actually,
he
not even. I didn't.
Oh, you
Stormblade held it.
didn't even have it. Oh.
I almost got it, but messed up the jump stab on a world record pace run.
Oh, I see. So basically, I discovered a new Zenobia strat that managed to save enough time that Tic-Tac could beat the world record easily, even if he messed up pretty badly. And so we kind of kept the strat hidden to ourselves because we didn't want Odawara to find out about it and then get the world record. So we basically just waited for him to release his Zenobia world record, and we hoped and prayed that he didn't find the strat on his own by accident. And luckily he didn't, so Tic-Tac was able to instantly take back the world record like as soon as he posted it. But it's actually a really crazy story about how I discovered the strat. Basically, Tic-Tac had one of his friends play Shadow of the Colossus casually for the first time, and
Got a laugh aggro and invisible walls.
so he explained to his friend like the old speedrun strat for Zenobia on like how to get up to the plateau, and that like people speculate that there might be a way to go from the final pillar to the plateau directly. And his friend said, yeah, I definitely think it is possible to somehow get from that pillar to the plateau. And so then a few days later, him saying that he definitely thinks that there's a way to get to the plateau from the pillar, that him saying that just kept repeating in my head over and over again while I was doing homework, and like I just couldn't shake that feeling. It was almost like someone was like tapping me on the shoulder, like telling me to like investigate if it was like possible to do that. So I finished up my homework and then immediately turned on my PlayStation. I go to the final pillar and climb up to the top and use it as a vantage point to try to see if there might be a way to go from the pillar to the plateau. And I notice this one ledge onto the side, and I see that there's like also other little ledges that kind of make a little path towards the plateau. So I jump onto that ledge, and I found out that, yep, you can definitely get to the plateau from walking across those ledges. And so when I found this, I tried to get world record myself, honestly, but I just was not good at. I wasn't good enough at like all the other parts of the run. So then, as soon as Tic-Tac woke up, I immediately called him and told him about the strat, and he found a way to optimize it even better. Where instead of jumping onto the ledge and going across the other set of ledges and then onto the plateau, he found a way to jump from the pillar to the plateau directly at a certain angle and at a certain timing. So Now he pretty much praises me as his goddess because I managed to help him get world record.
I mean, if you say so, but yeah, it was actually a very crazy strat and improved the whole route by quite a bit because it saves a lot of time and makes some of the lineups easier.
It's almost like that meme, I guess you are my little pog champ.
What?
Alrighty then. Yeah.
Tiktak,
Anyway,
pog champ?
you are quite pog, to say so myself. Yeah, so, and the other part of the strat is the so-called super jump, which Hammerclaw found, and in his video he said, probably not usable, and they made it usable by trying to make it work for hours, until I found a setup that is semi-consistent. It can still mess up, but I like to say I'm consistent enough at it to do it every time at some point. And basically there's some architecture around the pillars that Wonder can glitch into, and the game doesn't like Wonder glitching into objects. So if you just spam jump fast enough, you just get propelled out of that at insane speeds, and you can jump higher, so-called super jump. There have been other strategies before, but this is the currently used one. Another backup strategy would be one by Bobby Kaze, called the Kaze jump. But I won't use that because I want to definitely show the super jump.
Didn't that jump get nerfed?
Yeah, nobody really uses it anymore.
No, people still use it as a backup because the super jump can be quite difficult, especially for new speedrunners. It's unintuitive when it works and then it doesn't unless you spend hours like me trying to optimize it.
I've actually never managed to get the Kaze jump ever. I try to do it sometimes as a backup, but it just never works. So then my backup is always to just get a super jump on a different side of the pillar.
Yeah, that's basically kind of like me. I can do the Kaze jump, but I'm terrible at it, so it was never an option for me. And at this point I could use it, but I never do. Because I can just do that.
Oh!
Easy, right? You'd think. But it's
That's
not.
actually a glitch, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it actually is one of the few glitches we use. Another one would be one on Barber, but I didn't use that one in the hard run specifically.
Will you get wacky jump?
I hope so. Yep, I think so.
Woo!
Awesome.
You gotta imagine the faces of the people when they saw the strategy revealed for the first time.
And actually, funny thing is that when we did reveal it, I think like the video quality was really poor, and so they actually couldn't see what you were doing during the cutscene. So they were all confused as to how you did it. It was like
and later on I made a tutorial. Later on I improved the tutorial, and now it's all available on my channel and on the Discord under a beginner help section I made. So definitely a cool thing to try and replicate, and yeah, this is a very solid Zenobia, I would say myself. The plant is also quite ridiculous on that one, as you can see, and essential to do this Colossus quickly. It takes quite a few more stabs than on normal.
Yeah, they couldn't fit in another sigil, so they just kind of gave it a chunky amount of health.
Yeah. Big chunk.
Big chungus.
Clap, clap, clap.
And only 2 left.
Yep. One of them is quite difficult, especially when you're starting out speedrunning, and the other one is so difficult for me personally that a term was coined after it, but we will get to that later. So, anyone want to explain Argus?
Oh boy, he's another one of the bipedal ones. He is this giant bipedal, almost like monkey-looking Colossus that has a sword in his right hand. And the way you would normally fight him is you get him to stomp on a little platform thing, causing it to sort of become a ramp. Then you would use that ramp to jump up to the next floor of a building. And then on that floor, you would shoot at Argus with your arrows to try to trigger him to swing his sword at the wall, causing a giant block to fall down for you to jump onto and then jump up to the next floor. And then on that floor, you can basically go to a bridge. Argus will swing at the bridge, break it, and that will allow you to jump on top of him. But the way you would do it in a speed run is a lot different. The way you would do it is you would jump up onto his knee, and then from there, like, jump onto his hand, stab a sigil in his hand while he still has a sword in his hand. Then you would jump back onto his knee, and then do a crazy side jump that propels you to an insane height that manages to get you onto his head somehow, because physics.
Because physics. It's quite similar to the Bassaran one, actually.
Yeah, you do the same kind of setup with a side jump at a specific point in the like animation, and the game kind of doesn't quite know what to do, and then it boosts you. But it's not a glitch.
Yeah, it's basically since the lag in that sense, in this particular moment, moves up, Wander gets an upwards momentum, and due to the way side jumps works, if you do a small side jump, it's not even a big one, you barely charge it, Wander kind of side jumps a little to the side, but a lot to the top, or to the side in the case of Bassaran. So another physics abuse that is actually very, very consistent, but as always can go wrong. The good thing about this Colossus is if you mess any of this up, there's a cliff right there.
Tactical death.
So yeah, the first part of the strat where you jump to the hand wasn't actually always part of the route. Back in the good old days when speedrunning was difficult, even more difficult than now, you would go to the head first, then drop down and try to get to the back to the arm, and it was very awkward. Even if you messed it up, you lost minutes. So yeah, it's a good thing that that hand first now has a consistent setup. In the hard mode specifically, there's also a chest sigil, which is quite painful to stab, especially for like casual players or new speedrunners. Even for more experienced speedrunners that just didn't run hard mode much. I should be able to handle it, but even for me sometimes it's difficult. It really depends on Argus's mood and the way you get onto the sigil. Another one of those where stamina can be quite a problem. I hope it won't get to that though. So yeah, time to roll up the stairs.
Yes, because that's how physics works.
Because physics.
Yes, because physics.
The double roll I'm using here is actually also very interesting. It's a movement tech that's specific to the style of controls I'm using right now. It wasn't a thing in the original game. So basically if you roll and then try to shine the sword and then roll again, there's a slight moment where you can just double roll like that. And it's a slight bit faster than doing other strategies like where you jump and switch weapons, which also has the idea of resetting stumble animations.
Do Marcelo hops.
Oh god, Marcelo hops are not as quick for me in this version of the game because I don't have a pro and 60 FPS, but the idea, oh, you saw it.
Good luck.
Thank you.
This is definitely unintended.
Oh no. Tactical death.
Whee! Let's jump stab down to be quick.
Whee!
Yeah, the game does not want you to be on Argus's leg in that particular way, so sometimes it tries and shoves you off.
Yeah, I just was a little bit too far to the right, but I felt like it would still work. It's quite precise. Hopefully it won't take too many more attempts. Camera, please. Okay, I think this is alright. Oh! Okay, that totally just... no, it cancelled the stab, I think. I didn't do damage. So let's just do it again. Maybe I'm hallucinating it, but I'm convinced this didn't do damage. So let's just do it again. To be safe. Yep, it didn't do damage. Thank God I caught that.
That is so strange.
Let's see if I can still do the lineup here. If I can, that was quite clutch, not gonna lie. I never had to save this like that. I can't believe I actually did that. Okay, there we
Also
go.
a great launch.
Yep. My
The
heart
plant
is
on
still
Argus's head.
racing.
Yeah, the plant on Argus's head too is quite forgiving. It's just his chest sigil that gives. Oh boy.
I had to reposition, but it's fine. You're right about it being forgiven. I just wanted to do the first 2 stabs without a plant because I knew I could get them out. Okay, I think I did enough stabs. I'm a little bit confused. I'll take this very safely. Oh my god. Okay, this should be
Ooh.
fine. It's fine.
Ooh, hello.
It's heart attacks. You're giving
It's
me heart-
fine. This is fine as long as the stamina works out here.
Oh my god.
What a jump.
It's all good. I've done this before.
Yeah, Albus has
do.
very aggressive shake animations too, so stabbing just before he starts will cancel out the animation.
Yeah. This might actually be a problem stamina-wise because Argus is being quite tricky right now due to the fact that all the animations are a bit different than usual. But slowly but surely this will work out, I'm sure.
I didn't think it was possible for a Colossus to give me more heart attacks than Avion.
I don't know, besides the first moment where I realized the stab memed me and didn't do damage, that was quite nerve-wracking, but that just not was fine. Like,
Well, it's good that you noticed.
yeah, for sure.
That would have been.
Not gonna lie, in one of the big races that we organize as a community, in the hard one specifically, I didn't notice. And so then I did the final stab on the thing and realized there's pixel health left. So then I had to do the old strategy of waiting for the animation, dropping down and getting back into the hand. And it was quite scary, but it worked out. But I am very happy I didn't have to do that. So yeah, last but definitely not least, especially for me, Malice.
Fun fact, Tic-Tac is the only person that's ever managed to somehow get soft locked on this next Colossus.
Yeah.
It's very frustrating because, you know, you get to the end of the game, your run is going amazing, you've got a really good time so far, you're on pace for PB, but then you get soft locked right at the end, and you've wasted all that time for nothing.
Well, I wouldn't say wasted, but I lost top 2 time, potentially, in any percent normal, which would have been amazing, but I got soft locked. So since then I practiced this a lot more, but after that one, and many other attempts that got destroyed, specifically for me on Malice, people call it getting tic-tacked. At first it was just failing miserably on Malice, and failing the run like that. At some point it just became failing in general.
When I hear someone say getting tic-tacked, I just imagine like a bunch of teenagers throwing tic-tacs at someone while they're just curled up on the ground like cowering.
Crying like, ah!
Oh no, not the tic-tacs, they're too minty.
But yeah, since then I practiced this. I shouldn't get tic-tacked, but what better way to finish off a marathon than getting tic-tacked personally, yeah. I won't save because I believe in my ability to not get soft-locked, but not gonna lie, if I manage to do so, that would be quite spectacular. And I would just reset the game and would lose like 10 minutes. What is the time right now on the timer?
It's 1:33 right now.
1:33?
Yeah.
Yeah, timing-wise, I should be still within estimate, even if I mess that up, but I shouldn't. Actually, quite solid.
If you do get tic-tacked, will you throw the tic-tacs that Uwu gave you onto yourself and like tic-tac yourself?
Then I'm left
Tic-tac
anymore.
Oh damn.
I eat candy like crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see. If a lineup looks right, I will throw in a pitless in there just to give that extra heart attack moment.
Saves only like 2 seconds, right?
2 to 3 seconds maybe.
Shine the sword as you're running up to it.
No, it's slower. I looked at it, it just doesn't work well. The fastest way is just to stop here and do this. Because I was looking at Sean playing this game, and I was very confused how his Malice was so much faster compared to me in my PB. And then I realized this one, and a certain optimization on movement actually cost me insane amounts of time. Yeah, movement in this game can actually be more important than you'd think. And here I optimized that a little bit over the course of the last days and weeks, coming up to this marathon and another one soon enough. I'm pretty sure this is actually the first time on any marathon that any % hard is featured, and I'm very happy to represent that category, but because it deserves more love, deserves more runs. Oh, and aggro goes swimming.
Taking a dive.
Trying to bring it up.
Yeah, look at the form.
Hi, aggro.
She's fine. She's fine. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry.
He kicks and flails around, trying to somehow fly last second.
I'm pretty sure a community member made like a meme of aggro with like swimming gear.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's how aggro survived. Because spoiler alert, aggro survives. No worries
Horse
here.
is fine.
Hold up on your Bible thumbs. Aggro is fine.
Yeah. She just needs surgery on her leg. Wait, that's the thing is even though she lives, she is like limping, and isn't it like a thing where if you have a horse that's limping or something, or it has like a severe leg injury, it's too expensive to...
No, stop on that, please. That's not how any of this works. It might...
No more sad.
No, just don't go there, please.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I'm pretty sure all the horses in the world get proper care and love that they deserve.
Yes. Lots of apples and cuddles.
Yeah. The world is cruel enough as it is.
Yeah. You know, at any moment an asteroid can just come down and ruin your entire day.
I can't believe you've done this. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Just an inside joke. Uwu made it her life goal to somehow find a way to bring up the topic of asteroids at some point in this run.
And I did it.
Amazing. Asteroids, supervolcanoes, gamma ray burst. We can be happy that speedrunning is a
Mega
thing.
tsunamis.
Yeah.
No, Torcano, Quake, Blizzvalanche, Firecane, Bees.
I can't believe, Wacky, you know this by heart.
It's from some kind of a comedy sketch show.
Do a roll. Oh.
Yeah.
No roll. Fox's strategy is inferior.
No, it's
Here.
not.
I said it. I don't care.
Shout out to Foxy.
Also, as you see, I'm skipping by all of those things by being precise. And let's see if I can do another strategy here. There we go.
Oh, you did it.
I saved 2 seconds there. It wasn't that fantastic. I only risked losing like 10 or 15.
By the way, imagine if Foxy was about to donate again, but then you didn't do the roll, and so he canceled his donation.
Oh, for Foxy probably hates the meme of his strat being inferior being brought up. We like to get into little, I wouldn't say fights, disagreements on strats more often than you'd think. And that's
it's only
a
me and
particular
Foxy
one.
in the entire community that roll after doing that first jump.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you're comfortable with the strat, you can do whatever. But, you know, I prefer doing the double roll there. It's just that the strats here are so precise that at some point I just forgot completely how I was even doing that. And yeah, I had to relearn all of that because my muscle memory wasn't working out anymore. But now I'm happy to say I feel comfortable on Malice again. Brings
You didn't do
tears to
Jared,
my... Of course, yeah. Feel free to watch the IEL of Malice, it's very amazing and more amazing than anything I can show. Oh god, no. Okay, I had to get Tic-Tac somewhere. Let's try to take this safely. Okay, I think I saved it. I actually had NTA boss rush that was at this moment, and then I lost the plant, and Malice just completely flung me to the side all the way down and killed me, and that was the run. So I have quite a few bad memories with Malice, particularly, but I think I found ways to deal with it.
Yeah.
And it's actually crazy how the speedrun strat goes around all the intended strategies that you would have to do, and it makes it a bit easier once you know what you're doing. And that's Malice. So in the boss rush, the game would end here because that's the last Colossus, but we have a little bit of story section. But I basically can't fatal run anymore, to my knowledge.
It's more like the time stops when you lose control of Wanda.
Yeah.
Just like in Eco, where you wait till you lose control of Eco completely.
Yeah, classic speedrunning. So if anyone can explain the lore I'm about to skip, that would be cool.
Go ahead, Wacky.
So basically, there are these guys or whatever that show up on horseback after you defeat all the Colossi, and they all are simps for Mono, and they wanted to bring her back to life, but they were unfortunately too late, and so now they're a little offended that you did all the work for them first. And she's not even alive again, so they turn you into this giant shadow creature.
Wacky, I don't think that's how the story works.
I know. I wanted to write a fanfic. I'm sorry.
Oof. Well, basically, the Colossi were defeated, all of the dark dormant energies released, and since you saw that it was all in Wander basically transformed into Dorman himself, with all the glorious vaping that Dorman can do.
Vape Nation.
Rip it.
And yeah, so now they see what kind of monster he is.
They always saw what kind of monster he is, because the reason he was sealed up to begin with was because he was a tyrannical god, and people didn't like living under his rule, so they sealed him up and then fled these lands to basically have nothing more to do with him anymore. And so he's been waiting here for someone to be an idiot and steal the ancient sword, which is pretty much the only thing that can defeat the Colossi and free his soul, and so that he can return to his original state.
Yeah.
And he
And
basically
Sun's coming up in just a second.
So Wander lost everything, and since we're speedrunners, we make it quick, and basically those guys opened a portal that absorbs dark energy, and that's time.
GG.
What's his final? Ooh.
Ooh.
What's his final time? Yeah.
Oh, my stream is buffering like nobody's
I got
business.
141.39.
That's pretty solid.
Awesome.
That was basically my goal time, a low 140. It can go way worse. And yeah, that's Shadow of the Colossus. We'll just wait a little longer if there's enough time for that, to show like a few little Easter eggs in the cutscene.
For it.
And usually, like, since SSDs and PS Pros and now PS5s are a big problem, we would wait for the whole cutscene anyway, because at the end of the game IGT shows up, which works in a weird way, but it's consistent. So that way, even though, for example, on any % hard I have a 136, while Sean has a 134, I believe, as real time, my in-game time is faster because just my lows are way slower. And wouldn't you believe it, Dorman actually revived Mono, as you'll see in a bit.
Plot twist, she was actually in a coma and everyone thought she was dead, and she just woke up on her own, not because of Dorman or anything. She just woke up on coincidentally at this very exact moment.
Can
Very
you imagine
tight.
how pissed Wander would be?
Well,